Vandami Bante and good evening everyone, and good morning to everyone in the Western Hemisphere. So welcome to today's session. I'm Irong, I'm the co-host and assisting for today's session. May we invite Bante to give your sermon for today? Thank you.
Before we start giving Dhamma talks, we will pay homage to the Buddhas by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Today we have to start talking about dependent originations. So it will be just introductions. So we can explain a little, only just introductions. But anyway, it will take time. I also have to explain the basic principle of dependent originations, we call Paticcasamuppada. So you can see the picture. Line comes from small bud. After that, it becomes flower. Gradually, it becomes fruit. So in every single steps, they have potentiality to grow bigger. Now we can also understand in dependent originations. We in our life, we also have potentiality to grow older. Now we also have potentiality to be reborn as a human being. So now you are practically in the process of a fruit. Come from small buds, then gradually it grow up to mature lines. Then we can get the seeds again. If we can grow, they get what we plant. When plant become big, if plant grow bigger, it will be a tree. The tree will bear the flowers, fruits, and so on. This is the process of the plants and fruits and flowers. Similarly, in our life, we have process of different originations. We have 3 rounds. The first one is defilements. Second one is karma. The third one is vipaka, the result of karma. So today we will start with kilesa vata. Kilesa vata means the defilements rounds. Kilesa means defilements, vata means rounds. So it will cause people go around in the samsara. That's why it's called kilesa vata. In the kilesa vata, we have avijja, ignorance. Another one is tanha, craving. Now we also have upadhana, clinging. These 3 are called kilesa vata. In our life, we may have ignorance, craving, and clinging. It will be the cause of actions. Then we have to explain again what is it, the meaning of ignorance. So we have avijja. Avijja is like a covering truth and uncovering untruth. It will cover truth. What kind of truth? It will be number 1, not knowing the noble truth of suffering. Among the 4 noble truths, we have the first one, the noble truth of suffering. So avijja will cover, ignorance will cover the noble truth of suffering, in order that we may not know the truth and see the truth. Then 2, not knowing the origin of suffering. We can also say another way, not knowing the noble truth of the origin of suffering. This also covered by ignorance, avijja. In Buddha teaching, we have to find the cause. For example, if we are going to remove a tree, we just cut the branches and the trunk, but there's its roots in the soil. It can regrow anytime. So if we are going to remove the tree totally, we must cut the roots, or we must uproot. Then it cannot regrow anymore. Similarly, in Buddha's teaching, the Buddha recommended to remove or to cut the cause of suffering. Then if we don't know the cause of suffering, we don't know how to cut and what to cut. Then ignorance, avijja, will cover the noble truth of the origin of suffering. 3, not knowing the cessations of suffering. Everybody understands this one, I think. That is it, Nibbana. The cessations of suffering is Nibbana. So we can attain Nibbana, there will be no more suffering. It will cover, avijja, ignorance will cover the noble truth of the cessations of suffering. 4, not knowing the path leading to the cessations of suffering. Most of the people understand this one as 4 noble truths. Noble Eightfold Paths, sorry. This one as Noble Eightfold Paths. So avijja, the ignorance will cover the noble truth of the path leading to the cessations of suffering. These are 4 noble truths. So ignorance will cover the 4 noble truths. If we cannot know the truth, we will know untruth. Everywhere, our mind will know something. If we cannot know the truth, we must know untruth. Without knowing, we cannot survive. We cannot live as a human being. We cannot live as a human. We cannot live as living beings. In every living beings, we have consciousness. So when ignorance associates with consciousness, at the time it will cover 4 noble truths. Moreover, we have 4 more coverings. Not knowing past existences. We all have past lives, but we cannot know since we don't have inside knowledge. When we have very powerful inside knowledge, we can know the past. I think in Asian country, especially in Buddhist country, you may have experienced some reincarnation. You may have known some reincarnation in documentary, or you may have seen personally, or in the books. Like a Buddhist country, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, or Laos, maybe any other Asian country, when they have Buddhist background, when their boys or their girls, especially little girls or little boys, talk about their past lives, we may believe it. Because we have background knowledge about Buddhism. So briefly, when somebody is very young or little boy or little girl, when in childhood, they have a less ignorance. That is why they can recall their past. They can remember their past. So in Myanmar, we have many events like that. For example, one of the boy was born as in his past life, he was born as a bhikkhu. When he passed away, he could remember all his devotees. He could remember all the books he has bought in his monastery. So when he was a little boy, he can say everything. So that means they have less ignorance. That is why they can recall their past lives. They can remember their past lives, and they can also talk about their past lives. But in brief, when we have very strong ignorance, we cannot know the past. When we have weak ignorance, we can know the past. This is the way we have to understand. Okay? 6, not knowing future existences. It will be the same. When we have very strong ignorance, we cannot know our future existences. But if we have less ignorance, we can know our future existences. 7, not knowing both past and future existences. So that means when we have different backgrounds, different knowledge, there are somebody, they believe past lives, but they don't believe future lives. There are somebody, they believe future life, they don't believe past lives. But in reality, if we believe future lives, we must believe past lives. If we believe past lives, we must believe future lives, because if we believe future life, this life will be past in the future. That is why there are some special, maybe, wrong view holder. They just accept past existences, they don't accept future. There are some wrong view holder, they just accept future existences, they don't accept past existences. So we Buddhists believe both past and future lives and existences. So ignorance will cover both past lives and future lives, past existences and future existences. 8, the last one. Not knowing the dependent origination. So now we are going to talk about dependent originations, cause-effect relationship. So in Buddha's teaching, whatever things happen, there will be the causes. Maybe single causes or many causes. So we have to know the causes. We also have to know the effects. This is basic principle of religious Upadhana, the dependent origination. So in the defilements, wrongs, kilesawata, I have already said another one, dana, craving, or attachment. Actually, dana comes from dasa, the Pali words. That means hungry or thirsty. We may hunger for something. When we thirsty, this is called dana. In reality, we always want something. We always need something. We always attach to something. This is called dana. But mostly people translate as craving or attachment. Okay, the main thing is when we have a dana, our mind will be there all the time. The mind will go there all the time. Hunger for the one. This is called dana. We have different types of dana. The first one is kama dana, craving for sensual pleasures. Now we all have known what's are called sensual pleasure. We have 5 sense doors. You can also say 6 sense doors. In the 5 sense, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, we enjoy seeing something, listening something, smelling, tasting, touching. If we have attachment to enjoying this kind of pleasure, this is called kama dana. Then again, bhava dana, craving for existence. So what does it mean, craving for existence? that kind of craving is associated with wrong view. What kind of wrong view? It's associated with eternalism. So life will never end. Attachment to continuations of life or continuations of enjoyment or something like that. This is called Upadhana. For example, if we think enjoying social pleasure is permanent, everlasting, we have that kind of attachment to sensual pleasure, also can be Upadhana. For example, we see color, special color, what we like. So that color is the most beautiful for us. We are really interested in it. We enjoy it. This only attachment to the color is actually craving for sensual pleasure. If we think it will last long, or it is permanent, now we also have attachment to it. That one will be Upadhana. The last one, Upadhana. Craving for non-existence. What does it mean, non-existence? Oh, see a spelling mistake, huh? Okay, anyway. Non-existence, this also associated with wrong view. Wrong view means associated with annihilation view. After this life, no more. That's why in this body life we have to enjoy more, right? When we have that kind of attachment, it will be Upadhana. So another one, Upadhana, clinging. What is the difference between Tanha and Upadhana? Tanha means craving or attachment. Upadhana means here clinging. We also translate sometimes grasping. Anyway, Upadhana is stronger than Tanha. Initially, before we get something, we may have attachment to it. Not very powerful yet. When we are going to get it, or when we have already obtained the one we desire, our attachment becomes stronger. It becomes clinging. So in brief, we can understand these tools as weak craving and stronger craving. Weak attachment and stronger attachment. If attachment is not very powerful yet, not very forceful to you, not very forceful for you, it will be Tanha. When it becomes very stressful or very forceful to attach something or to protect something, it will become Upadhana. So when we have attachment, we have to protect that one more, right? So when we have less attachment, we will protect less. When we have more attachment, we will protect more. This is called clinging. So we may have different types of clinging according to Buddha's teaching. The first one, Kamupadhana, clinging to sensual pleasure. Before we get any kind of sensual pleasure, our attachment is not that much strong. When we are going to get, when we have very strong attachment, we will make more actions, more eagerness to do it. It will change to clinging. Then it will force you to obtain it. You get it. Stronger clinging. So Kamupadhana is attachment to sensual pleasure, any kind of pleasure. It can be color, sound, smell, taste, or touch, or even mind objects. Now we have Upadhana, clinging to wrong view. So this one is a little bit easier to understand because we have different types of wrong view. Among the wrong views, as Buddhists, we must accept cause and effect, karma ownership. If we are doing good things, we will bear good results. If we are doing bad things, we will bear bad results. We must believe in that kind of cause-effect relationship. If we reject, it will be wrong view. Although we have many different types of wrong view, but here in the sense of Upadhana, if we reject cause and effect relationship, good action and good results, bad actions and bad results, it will be Upadhana. So this is also spelling mistake. It should be Upadhana. Okay, clinging to wrong view. So we have the last one, Upadhana, clinging to wrong practice. So we hear Upadhana means we may have many wrong practice, wrong training, which are not related to the rightful path, or not very beneficial for us. It can be considered as Upadhana. So we also have attachment to that kind of practice. Okay, briefly, at the time of the Buddha, there are many asceticisms, many different types of asceticisms. They practice differently. For example, some of them will practice like a dog. They will eat like dog. They will sleep like a dog. They will go like a dog. And some of the ascetics will practice like cow or bull. They will eat like a bull. They will sleep, go here and there like a bull or cow. This kind of thing is called Upadhana, wrong practice. There are many other rite and ritual. It's not very beneficial for community. All these things can be considered as Upadhana. Okay, now we have to understand the next group. Karma vata, karma wrongs. So when we have defilements, we don't know the truth, then we are forced by dana, craving, also forced by clinging, upadana. We will make many actions. We will do many different things. It can be considered as karma vata. What's our really called karma vata? Sankhara, information. So we have only two. Another one is karma. This is the action. What is the difference between sankhara and karma? In the actual time of performing good and bad actions is called sankhara. When they appear in the present to produce its result, you can see it's a karma, action. How many kind of sankharas do we have? There are three types. One, punyavi sankhara, wholesome formations. When we talk about wholesome formations, we may have many different levels or many different degrees of punyavi sankhara. For example, in our daily life, we will do dana. Dana is also wholesome. Then this is also called sankhara. We may observe precepts. We may undertake 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 9 precepts, or 10 precepts. These sila are also called punyavi sankhara, wholesome formation. After that, we may practice, we may meditate. If we meditate, samatha meditation, if we practice samatha meditation, so when we are practicing in the very beginning, it will be Punyavi Sankara. And later, gradually, we can see the nimitta. It also Punyavi Sankara. We can develop gradually. We can attain jhana. The first jhana, the second jhana, the third jhana, the fourth jhana. According to Abhidhamma, there can be fifth jhana also. We can say 5 material jhanas. These are also called Punyavi Sankara, wholesome formations. So this is the first types we have to understand. Punyavi Sankara can cover any wholesome deeds in our daily life, including material jhanas. 2. Apunyavi Sankara, unwholesome formation. When we study Abhidhamma in the very beginning of Abhidhamma course, we have already explained 12 types of unwholesome consciousness. Any kinds of unwholesome consciousness can be considered as unwholesome formations. For example, greed may arise in our minds. We may have attachment to living things or non-living things. Then this is the mental actions that we will speak out. Then we will act bodily and verbally, any of actions, it become Apunyavi Sankara. Whatever unwholesome deeds or unwholesome actions or speech we make, it will be Apunyavi Sankara. It also can be in our daily life. It depends on how we accept and how we practice. Then again, we have the third, Ananjavi Sankara, Unshakeable formation. So you can imagine Unshakeable, right? It's very powerful. What's very powerful Sankara? Actually, this is the immaterial jhana. We have 4 immaterial jhanas. All these 4 immaterial jhanas are called Ananjavi Sankara. So these 3 are called Sankara. When Sankara becomes very powerful, then it can bear result anytime. And whatever action we make, or whatever actions, whatever bhava actions we speak, it can bear results. It can bear the fruits anytime. So although we make actions, the potentiality to produce its result is what remain in the process. That is called karma. So Sankara and karma, I have already said, in the actual time of actions or performing, we can say Sankara. When it appears to give its result, it will come as karmic force or karmic potentiality. So now Vipaka Vata, recited rounds, results of karma. What's are called the result of karma? Here we have vijnana, consciousness. The consciousness can be resulting consciousness in the mental process, as revealing consciousness, as life continuum, as a death moment, death consciousness. These are called consciousness of vijnana. In our life, we start with vijnana, consciousness. For example, we have already talked about avijja and sankara. When you study daily chants, you may remember avijja paccaya sankara, sankara paccaya vijnana, and so on. So Avijja is the cause of the arisings of sankhara. Both avijja and sankhara can be in the past. When we talk about sankhara paccaya vijnana, that sankhara can be in the past, vijnana can be in the present. If sankhara is in the present, vijnana can be in the future. We can understand reverse linking consciousness. It's also vijnana. So in brief, vijnana can cover any resulting consciousness in reverse linking consciousness, or life continuum, death moments, or any resulting consciousness in the middle process. Nama rupa. This is very common Pali words in Buddhism. Nama means mentality, rupa means materiality. So they can arise in our life. Then when we are going to talk about mentality, we have to learn the chapter of consciousness. When we are going to talk about materiality, we have to learn the chapter of materialities. So mentality cover consciousness and mental factors. In the materialities, we have concrete materialities and unconcrete materialities. Both of them can be considered as materialities. So when we are going to practice Upadhana, we must discern both concrete materialities and unconcrete materialities. But when we are going to contemplate as anicca, dukkha, anatta, we must contemplate only concrete materialities. Again, Salayana, 6 bases. So we have 6 bases. We can also understand another way, 6 internal bases and 6 external bases. So as we have known, internally we have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Externally we have objects: color, smell, sound, taste, touch, and thoughts. These are called 6 bases. When we are going to talk about Vipassana, we must know these 6 bases. So 6 internal bases and 6 external bases, altogether 12 bases. Then Phassa, contact. We have many different types of contact: eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. But you may have understood contact in many different ways. Eye contact, you know already. So for example, mind contact. When seeing somebody is eating limes, or little sour fruits, then saliva will gather in your mouth, right? Naturally, saliva will gather. This is a mind contact, although you don't eat limes, but you can practically experience. So when somebody is like adventure, somebody like a climbing very high mountain, then when seeing the climber, you may have fear. This is mind contact. You can see it. This is eye contact, but your mind fear. You may have fear. That means this mind contact. Because of mind contact, you fear. Okay, the main thing is we have contacts: eye contacts, ear contacts, nose contacts, tongue contacts, body contact, and mind contact. As we have a sense basis, we have contacts, 6 contacts. We have vedana, feeling. So when we see something, because of eye context, we may have three different types of feeling. Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and equanimous feeling. If it is a really, really very, very desirable happy feeling, it is undesirable unhappy feeling or unpleasant feeling. It's just a normal object, equanimous feeling. Similarly, smelling, tasting, touching, listening, or thinking, if we like, pleasant feeling, dislike, unpleasant feeling, then natural objects, equanimous feeling. Then again, we have Upapatibhava, rebirth. So these are Vibhagavata. Rebirth means the very beginning of life, this life, or any lives. Then these are called Vibhagavata. When we have defilements will force you to make actions. When you have actions, there can be the results. It can be these 6 results in our lifetime. Then again, this is for practical practice. So in our life, we start as small particles in the mother's womb, and gradually it grows bigger. We are born, then gradually we grow older and older, pass away, reborn. This is called samsara. So when we are going to talk about dependent originations, we also have to know past and present relationship. Okay, for example, in this very life, when we are born, what will be the cause of this life? We have to know. If we can find the defilement rounds, which are ignorance, tanha, craving, upadhana, clinging in the past lives, if we can know sankhara, formation, karma, karmic force or karmic potentiality in the past, we can discern cause and have a relationship. That's called divine origination. So we have to know the past. Actually, there are many things to talk about the past lives, but here we have very limited time, so I will say briefly. In Buddhism, many people say, just theory, no practical, but we have practical way of practice to know the past. Even non-Buddhist ascetics can practice to see their past lives before Buddha appears in this world. Okay, now what to do? The first one, to know the cause of this life, we must know the past. What's the cause of this life? What are the causes of this life? The first one is discern. We have to know the mentalities and materialities. So I have already said in our previous Dhamma talks about mental process. The mind will arise as city and process, city or process. Now, whatever mind moment arises, then they may have base, different bases. Eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and also we have heart base. Then some of the mentalities or mind moments also can produce, many of mind moments in the mental process also can produce materialities. Then we have to discern both mentalities and materialities in this body life. If we can know all the mentalities and materialities are arising as series, as a process, then we'll be ready to discern the past. Now, how to do? Discern the mentality, the materiality in the nearest past. What do you mean? The nearest past. For example, now you are 20 years old. Then this is your lifetime. You can discern your mentality in the present moments now, today. Then we may have we may have some process. For example, before we are going to discern it, we may offer something to the Buddhas, or we may make some good things, we may make aspiration. When we are going to meditate, we have to discern, we have to practice, we have to establish concentration, then we may discern nama rupas, then we may discern a little bit backwards. The mentalities and materialities, when we are discerning nama rupas, the mentality and mentalities, when we are establishing concentration, the materialities and mentalities, when we are doing some wholesome deeds before meditating, then if we can know everything clearly, we can move a little bit backwards. Then we can keep discerning as a process up to mother's ones, discern mentalities and materialities in the reverse, in the mother's one. So if we can discern materialities and mentality at the very beginning of this life, then we have to proceed discerning the past. Before the reverse, there's death. As we have learned in the mental process, we have already explained death mental process. So before we are born, we pass away, we die. We have to discern past lives, that means we have to discern death moments. In the death moments, the mind moment will take the object. What's taking object? Then we may also have to know many other things. Actually, it will be very wide here. For example, when we are discerning our past lives, this life, okay, very beginning of this life is a rebirth. When we proceed discerning the past, we may see dead body, like corpse, or that we may see like a dying moment. Then sometimes we also see many different things. Whatever thing we see, try to discern nama rupas, mentalities and materialities in the dead body of the corpse. In the corpse, actually no mentality, only materialities. When we can discern heartbeats, we can also know Bhavanga mind moments there. Among the Bhavanga mind moments, there are non-Bhavanga mind moments, because like mental process. So when we can know mental process, we can also know the object of mental process. And we can know which karma approaches this life. Okay, now, here we say, discern mentality in near-death moments in the past. If we can discern mentalities and materialities in near-death moments in the past, then we can also proceed discerning what are the causes of the karma and many other things. So finally, we can know the past causes. What's avijja, sankhara, or the tanha, upadhana, sankhara, and so on. Okay, now, avijja, you know already. For example, you may know Matha Kundali, the Dhammapada story. You may also know a frog listening to discourse delivered by the Buddha near the Kakara lake. Then he was dying of accidents. Also, he was born as a deva. Okay, the main is okay, Mata Kundali. In his near-death moments in the past lives, he just saw the Buddha. He had very strong devotion to the Buddha. After that, he passed away. He was born as Deva. It doesn't mention his attachment to life or avijja or sankhara or anything. But we can understand, since he was born as a Deva, he may have attachment to Deva lives, divine beings. Maybe he has been born as a Deva many times. Then, according to ultimate reality, we don't have divine beings. We just have only Nama Rupa. So not knowing the full of the truth, he accepts it is divine beings. Then he attachment to it. Because Dana, craving. Then he wants to be there, very eagerness, very strong force of craving, it will change to clinging, Upadhana. So these three are defining wrongs. When we have these trees, what these trees, accompanied by these trees, he had done sankhara formation. That means he had very strong faith, strong devotion to the Buddha. So in his near-death moments, that karma appear, and also produce a result. Here we have Padisanti, reverse. So we have avijja, ignorance, tanha, craving, upadhana, clinging. These are defilement wrongs. They also arise as mental process. For example, avijja is also mental process. Tanha also mental process. Upadhana is also mental process. They are unwholesome mental process. They may associate with greed. They may associate with wrong view. And it becomes the cause of sankhara, formations, and karma, karmic forks. So these sankhara and karma are also mental process. So in the case of Mata Kundali, sankhara and karma are wholesome sankhara, wholesome karma. Sankhara means a few times of having faith or devotion to the Buddha. But in his near-death moments, the karma appear. Actually, there will be reverse. Reverse is also mental process. We have already known that one, right? In near-death moment, there are 5 javanas. After that, 2 dharamanas. Sometimes it may arise, it may not arise. It depends on the objects. Then he pass away. Duty. Then Padisanti, reverse, next life. After that, Bhavanga, life continuance. So we have cause and effect relationship. How is the cause and effect relationship? So we have to know avijja, tanha, upadhana. These are defilements wrongs. Then they will cause karma, sankhara and karma. Because of avijja, tanha, upadhana, we accumulate sankhara. Once it appears in near-death moments or produce a result, it becomes karmic forks. So when we have these two, sankhara and karma, like we Padisanti, reverse. This is vipaka water. So sankhara and karma will produce reverse. We have this kind of cause and effect relationship. In our life, we have avijjas, tanhas, Upadhanas, we have done many Sankharas, and we also have many karmic forks. It can bear fruits anytime. Then we have only one rebirth in this very life. Then if we still have avijja, dana, upadana, we are still accumulating, we still have karma, that will be studied in the future. So avijja, dana, upadana, and sankhara and karma can be the cause of this life, but they are from the past. Now we have many avijja, dana, upadana, sankhara, karma in this very life. This causes will be in the future, will be in the future lives, presently rebirth. So this is called different originations. So now we have to go back to the simile. So now you may see the bean, right? Green bean. So small part is not bean yet. Without that, there cannot be beans. Similarly, flower is also not bean yet. But without flower, there cannot be beans. Then small young fruits is also not really mature yet. But it grow bigger and bigger. Finally, it become mature. When it ripen, we can get the seeds. So if we plant the seeds, we can get plants, buds, that's like flowers and beans again. This is like a process of plants. Similarly, we also have process of the life. When we pass away, there will be next life. Because we have Vedana, Upadana, Sankhara, Karma in every life, there can be recently rebirth. So if we can eradicate avijja, dana, upadana, we may not have Sankhara and Karma anymore. Then we may not have rebirth anymore. For example, Sotapanna. When we attain Sotapanna, we still have avijja, dana, upadana. Then we may have Sankhara and Karma. Now we can be reborn as a human being or as a devas. Sakadagami will be the same. They still have avijja, dana, upadana. When they have avijja, dana, upadana, they have Sankhara and Karma. Then they can be reborn. Anagami, no returner. They have avijja, but they don't have very strong dana. They don't have dana attachment to social pleasure, but they still have attachment to their life. They have upadana, no dekshu upadana, no silabatu upadana. Also, their upadana are not very powerful, but attachment to their life, very strong attachment to their life. But they still have sankhara because of defilements. They still have karma. They can be reborn. But when somebody attains arahat, then they will eradicate avijja, they will eradicate dana, they will eradicate upadana. Without avijja, dana, upadana, then there cannot be sankhara and karma. No more new sankhara, no more new karma. That is why when they pass away, no more rebirth. That is called Tibetan origination. Okay, so now I think connections are okay, right? So as you have understand the Tibetan origination now, may you all be able to practice Buddha's teaching, Sila Samadhi Panya, and as a result of it, may you all be able to realize the final sensations and suffering, Nirvana. Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Thank you, Bante. May we seek your permission to take questions from the floor?
Okay.
Shimpia, I think I need to understand Sankara in Burmese,
Okay.
the formation. So, Vezadana, Sankara Pisya, Bhava. So, Shimpia, so when you say Sankara, Burma in Burmese, it is Chin, Shimpia.
No.
Sankara, Dibe, Shimpia, Burma, Lusuyan.
Sankara is no you can see him.
You can see. Okay, so we would do it.
Not to go, no, that's enough, you know. Sankara goes in. Upama, low sound check. A logo level, Sankara Pioria, Makudo, Agudo, I call Sankara Pioria.
Oh, Kudo, Agudo, everything, mind, body action.
Yeah, any horse and unwholesome, any horse and unwholesome can be considered as Sankara, accepting path and fruition, accepting path knowledge, right? Okay.
So brain death pasima, because the mind is in the heart. You say the mind is in the heart. So in brain death passing, so the mind is still not dead yet because they have the blood pressure and heart rate still going on.
Sure. No, you're dead, sure. They're still alive, right? They cannot know anything, they're still alive.
Okay, thank you.
Bante, can I just ask, just now Bante mentioned about the Upadhana in the case of an Anagami. Bante, I'm just wondering because we learned there are 4 types of Upadhana, the Kamupadhana, Ditupadhana, Silabatupadhana, and Attawadu-padhana. But they are either Diti Cetasika or Loba Cetasika. So for because it's Kamupadhana is also the Kama Tanha. So for an Anagami, there's no more Upadhana.
Okay, so actually they don't have Kamupadhana, they may attach to their life. Huh? Okay, so this is a little bit difficult to say, right? No more Kamupadhana or not.
Oh, Kamupadhana will be attached to Karma, right? Because they have no more Karma.
No more Kamupadhana, sure. No more Kamupadhana, sure. Also, this one is complicated, right? So okay, we can also understand they don't have any kind of Upadhana, sure.
Oh, so they may not have Upadhana. So it's still possible to have rebirth without Upadhana. So it's just Tangha, but it's just a Bhawa Tangha.
Sure, Upadhana, sure.
Okay, thank you very much, Bante. May Bante be well.
Okay, good question, right? Okay.
Bante, thank you so much. I would like to ask about practical practice of depending on origination, depending of past life, seeing past life. So first step is strong concentration, entering to jhana, and then thank you.
What to do? How to discern the past? It's a very long process, right? Okay, so when we are going to talk about the past lives, we must have very bright lights, very powerful light, brightness to see the past. So when we can concentrate very well, when we have very bright lights, there are many different ways to see the past. Okay, the first one is very similar to divine psychic power, like divine eyes. When we have very bright lights, then we just pay attention to our past, just use the light to see the past. This is a similar psychic power, right? This is the first way, but not that much easy to know. For like a new practitioner, not that much easy to correct, to do like this, because it needs very strong, powerful brightness. So most of the meditators, when they are going to discern the past, we just use an easier way, following mental process. For example, okay, now step by step, right? In the very beginning, we have to do some wholesome deeds, then practice, meditate, make aspiration and meditate. Assembly concentration, we can say, assembly concentration. If you have taken jhana, you can enter into first jhana, second jhana, third jhana. If you have already tried 14 ways of training mind, okay, do 14 ways of training mind. It will be bright as lights. So when you have very bright lights or very stable, let's start descending Nama and Rupa in the present moment. Especially there's some mindful Nama Rupa small.
Okay.
After that, you can also discern Jhana Nama Dhammas, Jhana Rupas Dhammas, like this. Okay, Jhana mental process and associated mental factors and everything. Then again, if you can discern very well, actually when you can discern Nama Rupa clearer, the light will be brighter actually.
Okay.
The light becomes very bright again. When you have very bright lights, the clearer discernment, the brighter the light. Then after that, discern present mental process.
Yeah.
Then go back a little bit. Before, when you are discerning Nama Rupas, there were different mind movement already. Then go back. When you are establishing concentration, then go back gradually. Similarly, go back slowly up to maybe 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 1 week ago, 1 month ago, and gradually. In the process, you may see many different images, many different pictures or anything. You may feel like you are gradually younger and younger. What about things you feel or you see? Keep descending Nama Rupa. Don't skip Nama Rupa. Just follow the process gradually, then you can know reviving consciousness. After that, proceed to descend in the past. Right? Then after that, you can see the death moments of the past. So the main thing is in the death moments, what kind of object appear in your mind?
Yeah.
This is the main thing, right? Sometimes there's some people, they can see with their eyes and pass away, for example. When they see something and pass away, it will be endometer process. By listening, they pass away, it can be endometer process, maybe. So, okay, as process, in previous life, death moments, especially like you may see the corpse of past life, for example. If you see corpse, you have to discern rupas in the corpse. In the corpse, we don't have karma project materialities. It will only temperature project materialities. And keep discerning rupas, move a little bit backwards. Then you can see Maido, Bonga mind moments, life continuing mind moments. Among the life continuing mind moments, you can also see mental process. If you can see mental process, you have to discern. You have to try to see what's the object of this mental process. And you can know the life objects, which karma produces this life. Then we have to go and discern actual time of performing that one in the past lives. Huh? So if you can see actual time of accumulating the karma, you can also know what's your aspiration, what's your intention at the time. How to make that means sometimes you don't just wish to be somebody or something. Sometimes you don't have any other intention, just happen. Yeah? And at the time we can also understand what is it, your inclination, your aspiration in the actual time of performing the actions. Then we can know the cause of that karma, Upadhana, right? This is the way we have to discern past and present cause effect relationship. Okay?
So this is the question of good concentration. Then with absolute certainty we see, we can discern past.
Sure. If we have stronger concentration to see ultimate reality first.
Yeah.
Namarupa first. Then when we can discern Namarupa, concentration becomes stronger actually.
Yeah.
After that we can see, right? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Bante. Be safe, be happy.
Sādhu.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you, Bante, if it is because avijja is the cause of all the whole series of this Paticcasamuppada, but what is the cause of the avijja? And before the avijja, what it will be?
Okay, we have the causes of avijja. They are called asavana samuppada avijja japavadati. That means because of rises of asava, traits or cankers, which are rights. Okay. Then I have to explain a little bit more, right? Because you will ask, what's the cause of
avijja?
Right? Jara marana mucha. Diluted minds in Jarami, Asian, right? Marana means when you have delusions in aging and death, then there will be asava, right? What is it? Jara Marana, you can also learn again. Jati, right? So you can understand by yourself.
Thank you, Bande.
Okay, Bante. Yeah. Just now, through the Q&A session, I heard that Bante mentioned make expiration before meditate. How to make expiration and what kind of expiration before meditate?
Okay, so you can do any kind of expiration just for trial, just to discern the paths, right? That one is just, we have to do only purposely. For example, you will make expiration, maybe reborn as a great human being or something like this, maybe reborn as a deva, or maybe good scholar, something like that. You can make expiration anything, just for practicing. Okay? If you can remember all the mental process and the time of making expiration, it will be good enough. Okay?
Okay. Or is it some kind of expiration to make progress in meditation?
Okay, also possible. Any kind of expiration is okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bante. Thank you.
Could Bante explain about the avijja, tanha, upadana for beings who are reborn as a hell being or peta? What can be their avijja, tanha, upadana?
Okay, since maybe their past experience or their habits, maybe it depends, right? So for about hell beings, they have no choice. Right? They have no choice. That is why they may have the attachment to the life, for maybe, for example. One example. There are some hell beings, they were passed away in the hell, they were reborn in the hell again, right? For example. They're also scared of death. They're also afraid of death. Then they may have a wish to be reborn. Then they will be reborn as hell being. So that means their karma is a past karma. Also, maybe their aspiration also passed, right? Already passed away. But from human life to hell beings, then they don't have a choice. Then also not very clear, right? Okay, for example, animal life, for example, animal, is a little bit clearer to understand. We may see some animals, they are smarter than human beings, some animals. When seeing that, oh, we feel happy. Okay, we are born as that kind of animals, we are free, that kind of attachments. Similarly, hell beings, that they may have many other attachments. They may not have attachment to, okay, one more thing, their karma will cheat. You may have you read Metta Vindaka, one of the story?
No, Bante.
You have never read? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, practically.
Maybe Bante can give some example.
Okay, Metta Vindaka, right?
Yes.
Metta Vindaka, actually, he has a lot of very heavy karma because he trying to attack his mother. Then you can imagine it's very, very bad karma already. And he was traveling here and there. He also has some good karma. But one day he saw one hell being, in the head, there's a burning daban, like a daban, very, very, very hot, right? Very heaty. When seeing that, this actually hell fire burn his head. Then when seeing that, Metta Vindaka thought, oh, very beautiful daban. Can you give me, for example? And he really said to him, he talked to him, can you give me? And the head, he also had, his karma was also over. That's why he just trying to pass to him, right? That he gets. As soon as he put in his head, then it's burning, very, very painful for him. And he was automatically heavy, like that. Okay, the main thing is sometimes we can think like what in the near-death moment, for example, like they may see the flame, flame, fire. They may say, oh, this is very beautiful, like a golden color, something like that. They may attach to the one. Then it becomes the problem. Right? They attach to the one because their karma is cheated. They have ignorance, you can say they have ignorance. They think this is a golden color. very beautiful fire, very beautiful flame, for example, then they will be reborn. Okay, this is what we can understand according to Metta Vindaka. Okay.
That means, Bhante, they have a wrong knowing. That means something that is very terrible, like that is a hellfire, but they have a wrong knowing that this is a very beautiful golden color. And then they have this tanha, upadana, the craving and the clinging to this object. And then because of the sankhara, they reborn to the hell.
Sure.
Yes, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
The second one is from Lin Tan. Hi, Bhante, please explain again the meaning of unshakable formation under sankhara.
Okay. Unshakable formations is actually immaterial jhanas. Okay, in the very beginning, I have already talked about different types of karma, right? Wholesome karma, unwholesome karma, like dharana, sila, meditation, vipassana, or jhana. Then material jhana and immaterial jhana are two different things. The material jhanas are punyavi sankhara. Immaterial jhanas are ananjavi sankhara, unshakable sankhara, right? So then I don't know what he was to ask. So if we talk about unshakable formation, it will be immaterial jhana. Okay.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Yeah, I have a question to ask. Is regarding the seeing the past life. Is during meditation seeing the past life, it should be practiced under the samadhi or under the vipassana?
Okay, we have two different things in this case. When we are going to talk about divine origination, we will discern the past is vipassana. Okay, we can say basis of vipassana.
Yes.
So another thing is that when we are going to discern according to samatha, it will be like past, discerning past lives, right? This is called Bhubbinivasanosati, abhiññana, psychic power.
Yeah.
So we have two different ways. Yes. So we have also two different knowledges. In the sense of samatha, divine power, for example, the recollection of the past, the meditator can know the lineage, the age, what he eats, how his lifestyle is, everything, very many things in detail. But when we are going to see the past with inside knowledge, we cannot see Dhammas in detail. We can only cause effort relationship, only necessary part for relationship. Okay, so two different mind power, two different discernment. Okay.
But during this samadhi, to go inside to understand, it not be coming from the perceive of from the mind. It should be seeing or knowing direct from
sure.
your eyes.
Sure. We can say like a direct knowledge. You have to see it with your direct knowledge, right?
Direct knowledge.
So that means, okay, when we are going to talk about discerning past, we also have to talk about doubt overcoming purification. Okay, when we talk about doubt overcoming purification, we have 5 types of doubt about the past.
Yes.
Whether I have been born or not, right? Then something like that. After, if I have been born, how I was born.
Yes.
How is my shape, right?
Okay.
How kind of living I was. Then before that, what kind of life I have. Do we have any doubt about the past? So if we can discern cause of a relationship, we can overcome this doubt.
I see.
And when we can know it with direct knowledge, we can overcome the doubt about the past. I'm thinking, okay, we cannot overcome it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just that we are not assured whether what we're seeing is true to what we know is correct or not.
Okay. So we have many different ways to check. Okay. So if we imagine about the past, by meditation, we try to imagine about our past. Then we cannot discern cause of a relationship. Not very clear, right?
Yeah.
If we really can see it, then we will ask, how do you see it? We ask, right? How do you see it?
Yes.
So then what's the object of near-death moments? Ask many questions, right? If we can ask, if they can answer all the questions, we can, this is the truth.
I see.
Okay.
Sādhu, Bhante, understand.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, we have some questions in the chat from my friend Herman. Vandami Sādhu, why Sādhu just explained tonight's dependent origination is different with usually dependent origination chant at monastery with 12 points from Avijja until Jara Manara. Thank you.
Okay. So actually there are many different ways to approach Avijja Bhaja Sankhara, right? We can say 12 factors. Avijja Bhaja Sankhara, Sankhara Bhaja Vijnana, we have 12 factors. We associate 12 points. Okay. So if we summarize, there can be only 3 definements. Also, we have like a karma, and we also have the karma results. Okay, this we call 3 Vada. So we also have another angle, like a 5 past causes, then 5 present results, 5 present causes, then 5 future results, and so on. We have many other ways of explanation. So actually, we can approach many different ways. So if we explain one by one, it will take longer time. So for example, when we talk about Avijja, when we talk about, I have already explained Avijja here, right? Sankhara I explained already. Then Vijnana. Actually, when you go and read the books, Practical Abhidhamma, I have already listed out what are they. By reading the books, you can understand. That's why I just explain another angle. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. There is also another question from Sister Lin Tan. Hi, Bhante. Please explain again the meaning of unshakable formation under Sankhara. Bhante, why is immaterial jhana called unshakable Sankhara? What is the meaning of unshakable Sankhara?
Okay, so you may remember one of the karma, mighty karma, you know? Among the mighty karma, immaterial jhana is the strongest. Right? The very strong, very powerful jhanas. That's when they are called unshakable. Mighty karma. Okay, mighty karma, that's when they are called unshakable.
Okay, another question from Brother Joseph Ting. Bhante, can you explain how do we discern future existence in present lives?
Okay, so as we discern the past, we also have to discern the future, discern current mental process and namarupas. Just trying to move a little bit future, move forward. Discerning namarupa like that. Discern forward up to our death moment. For example, like now, current mind moment now, current mental process, then move a little bit forward. Maybe a few hours later, a few seconds later, a few minutes later, a few hours later, and so on. Up to death moment. Just discern namarupa like that. In the death moment, we have to discern what kind of object appear in the death moment. Then we can also know the future or future lives. Right? It will be very similar to the past, but easier than the past. Okay?
Right. Okay, another question. Bhante mentioned ascetic practice past lives. Did they practice using nama rupa way?
Okay, since they cannot discern nama rupa, they don't have inside knowledge. They can know, but not very clear as Buddha's teaching. Okay, so actually when you're going to read about 6 kinds of people who can know the past, the non-ascetics, non-Buddhist ascetics can see the past just following the process, mental process, we can say like namarupa process, but not so clear as Buddha's teaching. That's why they cannot see very clear. Okay.
Okay, Vandami Bhante, they ask in the Koinka, the practice. So we say after fasa, and then so we can cut, and then without fasa vidana, so can cut the vidana of. And then asking, but according to our Abhidhamma, you always teach us, and also is 7 universal, right? So is it possible to do like to cut from the vidana and get rid of all this vidana?
Yes.
I mean, from after cutting.
Okay, this is the main question, right? Actually, I also have listened to many Dhamma talks similar to your question.
Yes.
Okay, some other tradition, they also say, Venapacha Dhamma.
Yes.
Stop in the Vedana, don't go to Dhamma. They have that kind of explanation.
Yes.
You can also say
Yes.
Phassa and Vedana anyway. So for example, Phassa and Vedana will be, they are 7 universal. They can arise with any kind of consciousness. We cannot cut. Similarly, Vedana to Dana. Right? So sometimes Vedana and Dana can arise in the same mind moment. So that's why it's not very easy to say like that. But they create new discourse. You cannot find that kind of teaching in any part of Buddha, the Pali commentary or Pali Canon. Okay, so we can say it's almost impossible.
So impossible to cut, impossible to get rid of the tanha after the phassa, right?
Whenever Dana, actually,
Yes.
this is it's very clear. Sometimes, we have future happiness. We have attachment now.
Yes.
Right? Do you have you ever tried lottery?
Okay. No.
So that means before you win or you gain, you may have a lot of daydreaming.
Yes.
If I have a lot of money, I might do this, I might do that, right? The future. But now that is in the present. It's not that simple it's not that simple to cut. Okay?
Okay. So it's impossible, right?
Impossible, sure.
So the last question will be from the chat, from Dhamma friend Teddy. Vandami Bante, Pachika Samudpada, also in Mahindana Sutta. Are there any difference between this sutta and other suttas related to Paticca Samuppada? Is it enough only to read and learn about Mahanidana Sutta instead of other suttas? Anumodana Bante.
Okay, here we have many different teaching of Paticca Samuppada, different origination. For example, as you say, Mahanidana Sutta, sure, this is very good sutta, very good discourse. Also, sure, we also have many other things, like, for example, Paticca Samuppada Vibhanga, also very good. Now we also have Nitanavaka Samyutta from Samdha Nikaya. Nitanavaka Samyutta also mostly talk about different origination, Paticca Samuppada. So there are many different ways. We have 5 different ways, 5 different methods of Paticca Samuppada. If you wish to know more in detail, try to read in many different texts, right? For example, Paticca Samuppada Vibhanga, also you should read. Another thing is Nitanavaka Samyutta, you can read. Then you can understand more, you can also learn more. Okay.
Thank you, Bante. So thank you very much for your teachings today, Bante. May Bante lead us in making aspirations and sharing of merits, please.
Okay. Yada wada ja amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabba sambati siddhiya idame nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idame nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idame nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo Idame bunyam asawakaya waham hodu. Idame bunyam nirvana sa bhajayo hodu. Mama bunya bhagam savasadanam bhajemi. Te sabbe me samam bunya bhagam labandu.
Thank you, Bante, and everyone for your time. Till we meet again next Saturday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu.